A warm welcome to all our viewers. I'm your host Akansha Parimu and you're watching another episode of South Asia Focus. Let's begin the show. India and Bhutan share a timeless bond rooted in history, spirituality and mutual trust. Through decades of friendship and shared values, the ties between the two nations remain steadfast. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's recent visit to Bhutan reaffirms this enduring partnership, strengthening cooperation in culture, connectivity, and development.
India and Bhutan share more than borders. They share a timeless bond of history, culture, and friendship built on mutual respect, trust, and a shared vision for progress. As the Buddhist kingdom hosts the Global Peace Prayer Festival, conceived by His Majesty the King of Bhutan, the event stands as a universal call for harmony and compassion, reflecting Bhutan's rich spiritual legacy and the enduring Buddhist values uniting both nations. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, attending as the special guest, joined the sacred Kala Chakra initiation ceremony, marking Bhutan's spiritual celebration and honoring the 70th birth anniversary of the fourth king, Jigme Singye Wangchuk, a moment symbolizing the deep, spiritual and enduring India-Bhutan friendship.
भारत और भूटान सिर्फ सीमाओं से नहीं, संस्कृतियों से भी जुड़े हैं। हमारा रिश्ता वैल्यूज का है, इमोशंस का है, पीस का है, प्रोग्रेस का है। 2014 में प्रधानमंत्री पद की शपथ लेने के बाद मुझे अपनी पहली विदेश यात्रा में भूटान आने का अवसर मिला था। मैं आज भी उस यात्रा को याद करता हूं तो मन भावनाओं से भर जाता है।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi joined His Majesty the King of Bhutan in paying homage and seeking blessings from the sacred relics of Lord Buddha, enshrined at the Grand Queenre Hall in Tasi Chudzong. The revered relics, sent from India as a special gesture of friendship, honor the birth anniversary of His Majesty the Fourth King and the Global Peace Prayer Festival, a profound tribute to the shared spiritual heritage that unites India and Bhutan.
Prime Minister Modi is a spiritual master. So he's come here as a leader of India, a political leader of India. But as far as I'm concerned, like my elder brother is here as a spiritual master to offer prayers along with us for global peace.
India has been Bhutan's steadfast development partner, contributing to transformative projects in infrastructure, hydropower, education, and healthcare, driving Bhutan's progress and deepening bilateral cooperation. During his visit, Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the India-supported 1020 megawatt Punat Sangchu II hydroelectric power project, a landmark initiative that will boost Bhutan's hydropower capacity by nearly 40%, strengthening energy security and symbolizing the shared vision of sustainable growth between the two nations.
It's a large power generating plant, and the power produced from the plant will be used by people of Bhutan, and surplus power will be exported to India. In Bhutan, particularly, the power generation peaks during summer months and all, because most of the rivers are glacial rivers. So I think that's a time in which India also there is a great demand for power.
The two rail links that we are going to establish, connecting Banarhat in West Bengal to Samse and Kokrajhar in Assam to Gelefu. This is a mega project. It will cost over 4,000 crore. This will establish for the first time rail connectivity for Bhutan. It will provide access to vast Indian rail network, and it will enable Bhutan to, export easily, access the vast Indian market and even beyond. through these rail links.
Prime Minister Modi's visit to Bhutan beautifully reaffirmed the enduring friendship between the two nations, a partnership rooted in shared spirituality, mutual respect, and a vision for sustainable progress. Aligned with India's neighborhood first policy, the visit underscores New Delhi's commitment to fostering peace, prosperity, and deeper regional cooperation with Bhutan.
Another deadly reminder of Pakistan's crumbling internal security, a powerful explosion ripped through a judicial complex in Islamabad, killing at least 12 and injuring dozens. The blast, reportedly a suicide attack, comes at a time when Pakistan continues to face mounting threats from resurgent terrorist groups, even as its leadership tries to shift blame beyond its borders.
A powerful explosion shook Pakistan's capital. The target this time, a bustling court complex in Islamabad. The bomber, according to officials, tried to enter the court premises but detonated the explosives outside near a police vehicle after waiting for nearly 15 minutes.
यहाँ कचहरी के ऊपर एक खुदकुश हमला हुआ है और वो हमला अब आप देख सकते हैं कि जितना यहाँ पे नुकसान हुआ है उसमें अभी तक 12 लोग जो हैं वो शहीद हो चुके हैं और 27 के करीब जख्मी हैं.
Visuals from the site painted a grim picture. Lawyers in blood-soaked coats, shattered glass and debris scattered across the compound. The blast, heard kilometers away, damaged multiple vehicles and sent panic rippling through the city.
एक जोरदार धमाके की आवाज़ आई है, बहुत बड़ा ब्लास्ट हुआ है और मुड़ के देखा तो बस आग ही आग थी और पार्ट्स ऑफ बॉडी थे बिखरे पड़े, डेड बॉडीज थी और शोले आग के बुलंदी पे थे, तो खौफ और रास का मामला था. तो उसके बाद फिर पुलिस आ गई, सिक्योरिटीज़ आ गई, हम साइड पे हो गए, लेकिन बहुत बड़ा ब्लास्ट था. ऐसा लग रहा था कि जैसे किसी ने बम ब्लास्ट किया हो या बहुत बड़ा धमाका हुआ.
दिन 12 बजे से लेकर अब तक मेरे जहन में एक बोझ है और मेरे जहन में एक बड़ी तकलीफ़ है, एक उलझन सी है कि अगर वो अदालतें जहाँ पे हर आम वो ख़ास शख्स जहाँ पे दाखिल होता है और जिसकी मामला जो है यहाँ पे अदालत में हल होते हैं, अगर वो महफूज नहीं है तो फिर इस शहर में और कौन महफूज है. ये चीज़ बड़ी परेशान कुन है और जो आला अख्तियारात के लोग हैं उनको इसके ऊपर कोई ना कोई अमल करना चाहिए.
The attack occurred during peak court hours, when hundreds of visitors and lawyers were inside the complex. Forensic teams were rushed to the site as authorities struggled to determine the nature of explosion. Car bomb or suicide attack, both familiar tragedies in Pakistan's terror-stricken landscape.
CCTV फुटेज हमने जो देखी है उसमें वो बिल्कुल ऑपोजिट जाके खड़ा रहा है और देखता रहा है मुख्तलिफ एंगल से कि किस तरह अंदर जाऊं. तो आपको पता है यहाँ पे कचहरी में हर बंदा जो जाता है उसकी चेकिंग होती है, तो उस लिहाज से वो अंदर नहीं जा सका, तो उसने फिर अपना नेक्स्ट टारगेट जो है वो पुलिस की गाड़ी को बनाया है. तो ये अब हमने पहली प्रायोरिटी में हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि उसको आइडेंटिफाई करें.
But instead of introspection, Pakistan's leadership has chosen its familiar path: blame India. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif was quick to accuse Indian terrorist proxies of orchestrating the attack, without providing a shred of evidence. New Delhi dismissed the allegations as baseless and diversionary, calling them yet another attempt by Islamabad to deflect from its own governance and security failures. Even as Pakistan points fingers, the internal rot deepens. Its own security agencies, underfunded and demoralized, remain unable to contain a militant resurgence that has steadily crept from the tribal belt to major urban centers. Lawyers at the site spoke of fear and frustration, a grim reflection of how terror has become an everyday reality for ordinary Pakistanis.
इस खौफ की फ़ज़ा को ख़त्म करना हमें ज़रूर ख़त्म करना चाहिए और कोशिश करनी चाहिए कि हम सब लॉयर्स इकट्ठे हों और यकजहती का इजहार करें आपस में, और जो हमारी सिक्योरिटी लैब्स हैं उनको कवर अप करने के लिए उनको हाईलाइट करें ताकि वो कवर अप हो सके।
The attack also comes amid rising tensions with Afghanistan. Islamabad's recent cross-border drone strikes and Kabul's retaliatory fire have already escalated hostilities. With the fragile ceasefire brokered by Qatar barely holding, Pakistan now finds itself trapped in the violence it once exported.
Time now for Asia This Week, the stories from across the continent.
GTech is the showcase of digital innovation. TDK is the global electronics company, and its advancing booth gathered biggest attention of visitors. Celebrating 90 years of anniversary, TDK booth exhibits various technologies cultivated in long history.
トランスフォーメーションの一環としてこのブランディング、ブランドアイデンティティもですねトランスフォームをしようじゃないかと。In Everything Better とリブランディングと CTEC の場で展示も含めてさせていただくと。今社会スマートフォンですとか EV ですとか、それからさまざまな産業機器であるとか、当社はですねほぼほぼ世界のあらゆる電子機器の中に入って内側に入ってでそのテクノロジーやソリューションでその内側からですね社会のトランスフォーメーションにインパクトを与えていくんだよということをですね社内外のある意味メンバーステークホルダーの皆さんにしっかりと説明をしていきたいと。やはり今回はですねロゴといいますかこの背景も含めましてね非常にこの色合いもですねこの多様性を強調する、この多様性を持っているということは非常にいいことなんだと。社外のみならず社内のチームメンバーに対してもアピールというかコミュニケーションをし続けていきたいなという思いでですねこういったことをやらせていただきます。
TDK's technology and part product are invisible from surface of product but integral for product to work precisely. It is highly admired and incorporated to global consumer products. TDK declared in everything better with new brand. TDK's development has started from a ferrite technology. TDK's transformation will never stop to develop better industrial field. With just 4 months left before the country goes to polls to conclude the transition period, the youth of the Himalayan nation are demanding new faces on the ballot and in the parliament. The Gen Z-led uprising on September 8 and 9, which sparked a wave of change across the country, now seeks a safe and meaningful outcome through the upcoming elections. The 2-day protest, which claimed the lives of at least 74 people and forced then Communist leader KP Sharma Oli to step down, led to the dissolution of parliament and the formation of an interim government. The use of lethal force sparked outrage, prompting Home Minister Ramesh Lekhak to resign, though Prime Minister Oli refused to step down. With parliament dissolved and elections scheduled for March next year, Nepal is navigating a challenging yet hopeful path towards political stability. The youth, who were the driving force behind the wave of change, now hope that a new leadership will steer the nation towards lasting stability. Big Motorcar Exhibition, Japan Mobility Show, was held in Tokyo, gathering more than 510 companies' participation. It highlighted motorbike giant Yamaha Motors' booth. CEO Motofumi Shitara declared Yamaha Motor policy is to create deep satisfaction and excitement. It has cultivated craftsman spirit in 70 years of experience.
モトロイドの開発プロジェクトは人とモビリティの新たな関係を探るためその概念実証を目的にスタートしました。2017年には自立してライダーに歩み寄るモトロイドを、また前回のモビリティショーでは生命感さえ感じるモトロイド2をご覧いただきました。あれから2年、モトロイドの開発プロジェクトは新たな歩みを始めています。
Third generation Motoroid Lambda equips AI to learn complicated action based on rider's operation. hydrogen motorbike was developed based on cooperation with Toyota. After charging of hydrogen, it enables 100 kilometers run with maximum speed of 90 kilometers per hour. Already it passed exhaust regulation just before shipping to the market. EV3 brothers are introduced. Pure EV motorbike, hybrid and plug-in hybrid are lined up to catch up future trend. 3 vehicles motorbike has the function of independent steering front, 2 vehicles and backside 1 vehicle. It satisfies riders to operate smoothly and efficiently with excitement. To enrich daily life, Yamaha Motor develops electric power assisted bicycle and wheelchair. Big wheelchair equips big tire for bad road run. Smart wheelchair is available to be customized for city area run or suburb run. Yamaha Motor's evolution will never stop to catch up necessity of social life and to pursue craftsman mind.
This content is brewing in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir as university students take to the streets against an alarming rise in tuition and transport fees. The protests, which began at Jamia Kashmir's Chela campus, have now evolved into a wider movement representing students across Muzaffarabad and adjoining areas. Their grievances highlight not just administrative negligence but also the deepening education crisis under Pakistan's misgovernance in the occupied territory.
Across Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, the promise of affordable education is fast fading. Students who once dreamt of higher studies are now trapped in a cycle of rising fees and collapsing infrastructure. At Jamia Kashmir in Muzaffarabad, frustration has reached a boiling point, with the administration's latest decision to hike fees by nearly 50 to 80%, triggering widespread outrage.
चेला कैंपस के अंदर जम्मू कश्मीर स्टूडेंट्स लिबरेशन फ्रंट के मेजबानी में जामिया कश्मीर के जुमला तुलबा तंजीमात का एक नुमाइंदा इजलास जो है वो चेला कैंपस के अंदर मुनक़िद हुआ, जिसमें जो है वो हालिया यूनिवर्सिटी इंतजामिया की तरफ से जामिया कश्मीर के अंदर फीसिस में जो है वो 50% से लेकर जो है वो 80% 80% तक जो है वो फीसिस में इजाफा किया गया है। और बारहा यूनिवर्सिटी इंतजामिया को फीसिस में जो है वो कमी का एप्लीकेशंस भी दी गई, लेकिन यूनिवर्सिटी इंतजामिया कोई उस चीज़ पे नोटिस नहीं ले रही है। उसके अलावा जो है वो यूनिवर्सिटी के अंदर जो है वो ट्रांसपोर्ट का एक बहुत बड़ा मसला है कि आए रोज जो है वो तालिब इल्म जो है वो ट्रांसपोर्ट ना होने की वजह से जो है वो जब ओवरलोडिंग होती है बसेस के अंदर तो हादसा पेश आते हैं, तालिबात जो है वो जख्मी होते हैं, तुलबा जख्मी होते हैं आए रोज के अंदर। और यूनिवर्सिटी के अंदर जो है वो और दीगर मिसाइल के गिर्द जो है वो आज का ये तमाम तुलबा तंजीमों का इजलास था।
The students say the administration's indifference is worsening the daily struggle of young people already burdened by high living cost and limited infrastructure. They also raised a critical concern, the transport crisis. Overcrowded buses, lack of proper scheduling and frequent accidents have put hundreds of students at risk.
सबसे पहले लोकल से बस फीसेस, ठीक है, जो बच्चे हॉस्टल्स में रह रहे हैं या इधर सिटी के अंदर रह रहे हैं उनसे 6-6 हज़ार रुपये उनके ऊपर आयद किया गया है, ठीक है, जो हॉस्टल्स वाले बच्चों के ऊपर नहीं बनना चाहिए। जो बच्चे कहीं अब्दुल्ला कैंपस जाते हैं उन पे तो चले ठीक है, उनके पास ट्रांसपोर्ट कार्ड होना चाहिए। अगर इसका भी करना चाहिए तो इंतजामिया को ये चाहिए कि स्टूडेंट्स को स्टूडेंट कार्ड दें जो बच्चे ट्रांसपोर्ट का इस्तेमाल करते हैं। जो बच्चे अपने हॉस्टल्स में रह रहे हैं उनके लिए इस चीज़ का नहीं होना चाहिए।
The revised academic calendar has reportedly added an extra semester, turning an 8-semester program into one stretching across 9 or even 10 semesters. Students say this move will not only delay their graduation but also add to their financial burden.
ठीक है, सेमेस्टर्स वगैरह को कंसीज किया गया जिसके अंदर जो है समर खत्म किया गया है, ठीक है, जबकि उनको कहा जाता है कि आप एक्स्ट्रा सेमेस्टर पढ़ें, जिससे उनके 8 सेमेस्टर की डिग्री 9 और 10 यानी कि सेमेस्टर में जा रही है, जिससे उनके 1 साल का लॉस हो रहा है। उसके अलावा अगर मजीद जाएं तो ऑफर की फीस इन्होंने इंक्रीज की है, पहले वो 5,000 रुपया थी, अब वो बढ़ा के इन्होंने 10,000 कर ली। जो गरीब बच्चे जो मुश्किल से अपने सेमेस्टर की फीस पूरी करते हैं वो किस तरह से उन चीज़ों को पूरे करें।
These protests are symptomatic of a much larger issue, the systemic neglect of Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. While Islamabad boasts of development in the region, the reality on the ground tells a starkly different story, where students, the future of the region, are forced to protest for basic educational rights. The student unrest in POJK is not just about rising fees or lack of buses. It's a reflection of a generation's frustration under an administration that continues to ignore their voices.
India is powering a new green revolution driven by innovation, awareness, and a shared commitment to sustainability. As the nation cuts carbon and expands renewable energy, solar and wind are no longer dreams of tomorrow but realities of today. The Renewable Energy India Expo captured this spirit, uniting innovators and citizens in the journey toward a cleaner, self-reliant Bharat.
India is not just meeting its energy needs, it is leading the global march towards sustainability. Every solar panel, every breakthrough, and every bold idea mirrors the nation's vision of growth powered by responsibility. The Renewable Energy India Expo became a vibrant showcase of this spirit, where innovators from across the country unveiled cutting-edge solar solutions, smart battery systems, and eco-friendly technologies, all illuminating India's growing confidence in a cleaner, greener future.
Every year in wind power and in solar power, there is almost 25 to 30 gigawatt of solar of renewable energy that is being added in the country. As you rightly said, we have approximately 200 gigawatt of renewable energy capacity in the country today, and by 2030 this is expected to be approximately 500 gigawatt. So this growth of approximately 300 gigawatt of renewable energy is what we are going to see in the next 4 to 5 years.
The enthusiasm wasn't limited to industry leaders. It flowed through every aisle of the expo. From small business owners to energy enthusiasts, visitors discovered innovations that could transform everyday life and applauded India's bold vision for a renewable future. For many, the event proved that sustainability and self-reliance truly go hand in hand.
Being a solar module manufacturer, we are also adding our capacity in UP, and we have the first UP PV solar plant. So momentum is going on, and apart from the solar panel manufacturing, you will also see the solar cell manufacturing sector is also booming here. So in this year and coming year, I can see that solar cells manufacturing is growing at a very good pace.
Actually, most of the banks now, they are investing in renewable energy installation, and all the finances are means guiding us or supporting us. So obviously one means people should move towards renewable, because everyone is supporting us. Government is also supporting us. They are providing subsidies and all. So it's easy for us to means if government are supporting, then we also should support the government in means to shift towards renewable energy.
As world leaders, scientists and activists gathered in Brazil for COP30, the global climate conference, concerns persist that the world may still fall short of keeping global warming below 1.5 degrees Celsius, the central goal of the Paris Agreement forged a decade ago. Yet, amid this global uncertainty, countries like India are igniting hope. From bustling metros to remote villages, India's green drive is gaining momentum, cutting carbon emissions, expanding renewable energy, and proving that sustainability can power both progress and people.
After the solar plant, energy to the village has been made available throughout. So it is be the security of the females, which is now they are feeling more secure because road lights are working because of energy. Students are going to the schools, they are taking participation in other activities. Businesses are doing business in day and doing more business throughout the day.
India's renewable journey is more than a transition, it is a transformation. From empowering villages with solar light to driving innovation in cities, the nation is proving that clean energy fuels both progress and possibility. With every milestone, India moves closer to a brighter, greener, and true self-reliant future.
India's green revolution is lightening the way toward a cleaner, brighter, and self-reliant future. And with that, we come to the end of this week's episode. See you next week. Till then, goodbye and take care.